Hey guys, Mr. Voiles here, and today I have a quick tutorial or lesson for you about creating and saving a new project inside of both Photoshop and Photopea. So let's get started, guys. We're going to go over the Photoshop first, the way to do that in Photoshop, and then I'll show you the Photopea way to do it as well. So as you guys know, we're starting our new project. And I'm just going to go to my launch pad down here at the bottom. And you're just going to click through all of you can swipe through your different programs. And you're looking for Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop 2020. And it should be like a blue square with the PS. Okay, so we're just going to click on that. And that's going to launch Photoshop. It takes a while sometimes. And you'll see here Photoshop will get going. It looks like a little girl who's kind of underwater. She looks like a mermaid, and she's looking out the window there. And so that's what it looks like when it launches. And so when the program finally opens, you'll see this welcome screen, and it says welcome to Photoshop. And here you can see just some of the things that I've been working on. But we're going to go ahead and we're just going to click on Create New. The open button is for opening projects that you've already created, but we want to create a new project, so we're just going to click on Create New. And when that happens, you'll see we get this box that says New Document. Okay, so this is what we're going to use to create a new document. And you'll see here at the top, you've got these different options or these different tabs, okay? There's Photo, Print, Art and Illustration, Web, Mobile, and Film and Video. And so what we're looking at, all of these different tabs are basically giving us different presets. And a preset is what you can use to basically get started. And it gives us all these different sizes for different applications. So if you look over here on the side, there's a place to title your project. And this is where you could put in like your name, or you could put in collage project, okay? And right here, we can tell Photoshop what size we want it to create as our document. So there's a place where you can put in the width, the height, and the resolution. And also there's a place, there's this drop down box right here where you can actually pick the units that you want. We can choose inches or pixels. Those are usually the main two that we'll use. But guys, instead of doing it the hard way, let's just pick a preset, and when we pick a preset, that will fill all of this in automatically for us, okay? So what we're looking for is a preset that we can use for our collage project. Now, last time we created some posters, but this time we're going to be making our collages on just regular print paper, like the kind you buy at the store. So if you see here, there's all these different presets for different sizes, okay? What we're looking for is letter size, which letter size is 8.5 by 11. So we're going to click on print, and that's where we're going to find all of the different presets for like paper sizes. And you can see here there's legal, there's tabloid, and we're looking for letter. So, and you'll see whenever you click letter, you'll see it automatically sets those settings over here on the side to 8.5 inches by 11 inches. And that's perfect, okay? It gives us a resolution of 300 pixels per inch, which is exactly what we want. So you don't want to change that, because anything that is printed has to be at or higher of 300 pixels per inch. But right here, you can change the orientation, which is basically if you want your document to be portrait or landscape. And this is something you can always change later, but we're going to go ahead and choose portrait because I just think that that's a little more natural for what we're doing. And you can see right here, it puts us at 8.5 by 11 automatically. And then we can go in here and we can actually change, we can put in our own title. So I could put in here Josh, and then I could put dash collage. Okay, so this is what you want to do whenever you're ready to actually create something that you're going to be working in for the project, and then actually something that you're going to use to actually save onto your computer so that you can always go back to it later on. All right, so we've got the name, we've got our dimensions set up the way we want, the resolution, all of this stuff we're just going to leave exactly the same, and now we can click create. And voila, there is our beautiful 8.5 by 11 canvas ready to start designing. Okay, so let's just say that you've started to design, you've started to bring in, different pictures and things that you want to use. And now, so like say for instance, I've got this picture right here, and we can just pretend that that's something that we're going to use. And let's say you've got all your text and everything in there, and maybe you're not finished yet, but let's just say you're building your collage little by little, and it's all slowly coming together. Okay, so I'm just putting some things in here so you can see kind of what it looks like. And so now what you want to do is be able to save this project so that you can get back to it later and not lose all the work that you've done. Let's say you've put in, a bunch of your photographs and things, and you don't want to lose that work. So now that we know how to create a new project, I want to show you how to save a project. So this little X right here, if we try to click that and close out, it's going to give us this little message. It's going to say, do you want to save changes to the Adobe Photoshop document titled Josh-Collage before closing? And I'm going to say, yes, I want to save that. So you would click on save, and it would take you to this box that would let you save it. But I'm going to just cancel that, and I'm going to show you the right way to do it really before you even want to click that X and even take a chance. What you really want to do is come up here to where it says File. So you want to click on File, and we're going to come down here to this button or this option that says Save As. Okay, if we click Save, that will allow us to save this as a PSD, which is exactly what we want to do. And so for the first time that you save this, if you want to, you can click on Save. Save As would be more for like if we want to save this as a JPEG or flatten all of the layers together as one image, and to save it as something like a JPEG or a PDF. But what we want to do for the very first time we save this is we want to save it as a PSD, okay? We want to save this as a Photoshop document. That way when we click on the file, we can open it all back up again, all inside of Photoshop. So I'm going to click on where it says Save, okay? And we can see here, it's got our title, which is Josh-Collage. That's what I titled it earlier. And you can see right here, it says period or dot PSD. So it's giving us the correct file extension or the file format that we want. So you don't want to change anything. You don't want to come in here and backspace that out. We want to leave that as dot PSD, just like that, okay? So you'll see here, if I tried to erase this and change it, what you would want to do is, you see right here where it says format, you can go under format and actually change the format to JPEG or whatever you want it to be, PNG for instance. Now a PNG is going to flatten everything, and we won't be able to come back in here and make any changes. But as you can see, when I choose format and I pick a certain format, it automatically updates my title, the name of the file. So you can see now it's called Josh-Collage.png, okay? So just so you know, if you accidentally backspace out of that and you want to make sure you're saving it correctly, you can come down here to where it says format and just make sure that it is selected on Photoshop, okay? If we save it as one of these formats, like I said earlier, it's going to flatten the image and we won't be able to open it back up inside of Photoshop. So let's make sure that we're selecting on Photoshop as the format. And when we do that, you see it changes it back to Josh-Collage.PSD for Photoshop document, okay? So we learned a little bit about that today. So when you're saving your project, make sure you save it as a Photoshop document, okay? We are going to choose where we want to save it. We can save it on the desktop. Next time we meet, I will instruct you to create a new folder for this project, but if you want to go ahead and save it on your desktop for now, that's fine. And everything else we're just going to leave the same. And then we'll just click Save. And it's just going to tell us that it's maximizing compatibility. And so that's fine. This is just kind of a message telling you that it's about to save. We'll click OK. And you can see the little blue bar that comes across at the bottom there telling us that it is saving our project. And now we should be able to close this. We could even close Photoshop. And I saved this somewhere here on the desktop. Let's see if I can find it. Actually, it might have gone to my downloads folder. No, I did. I saved it to the desktop. So let's see if we can find it here. We know it's a PSD. So what I want to show you guys now is, now that we've saved it, you should be able to go back and actually open it again inside of Photoshop. So I'm just going to look for it here. It should be here on my desktop. Do you guys see it anywhere? Let's see. I know it's here somewhere. And it will probably, there it is. It'll probably look like a blank picture. And I was trying to search for it in my Finder window. You can always use the Finder to search, but I actually just saw it right here on my desktop. So here it is. It's josh-collage.psd. So now if I double click this file, because I saved it as a Photoshop document, now whenever I click on it, it will open up all right back in Photoshop, and I can still come in here and make changes if I want to, okay? As long as you always make sure to click on Save, that will automatically update any changes that you have made to this Photoshop document. So for instance, let's say I come in here and type in something different, and I make that a change. I can come up here and click File, Save, or I can actually use the keyboard shortcut Command S, okay? If I hit Command S, that will automatically update this file, and then if I close it, I can always go back and open it again inside of Photoshop. So that's why you want to always remember to save it as a PSD first, because if you do a bunch of work and then you go in here and you accidentally save it as a JPEG and you don't remember to save it as a PSD, it will save out as, you know, a flattened image, but you won't be able to open it back up again in Photoshop where you can make changes, okay? So I want to stress that. Save your file first as a PSD, and then you can always go back and make changes. So that's how you would do it in Photoshop. I'm going to show you quickly how to do it now in Photopea. So we can go and type in Photopea, P-E-A. And similar to the way we launched our Photoshop, we can now just click on this website, and this is going to launch Photopea. And Photopea is almost exactly like Photoshop. I'm going to collapse this window here because I don't need that. You may see some advertisements on the side, but just ignore those. So the Photopea website is really cool because it's for free, and it will allow you to work with Photoshop documents exactly like Photoshop does. So just the same, we want to click on New Project. We get kind of that window, kind of like we saw that Photoshop had, except now our options for different presets are not at the top, but they're actually right here on the side. So you can see here we've got social, we've got print, photo, screen. So once again, we're just going to look for print. We're going to look for our letter size, and there it is right there. You can see it says 8.5 by 11 inches, which is exactly what we want. And when you click on that, you will see once again that it fills all of that automatically for you. And the only thing we want to do is, once again, name our project. I'm going to name this kind of the way I did a while ago, josh.collage. And we're going to name it Josh Collage, and then I'm going to click Create. And there is my, there's my new project ready to go again. And similarly, the same way we saved our project out of Photoshop as a PSD, we want to do the same thing with this one from Photopea. So, let's say you've been doing some work, you want to, you want to save changes to stuff that you've done. So just for an example, I'll show you I'm just going to type out some random text here, and I'm just going to kind of show you how you can save that, right? So let's say that I've done some text here, or I've done some editing, and I'm ready to save my file. So I'm going to go up to File. I'm going to click on Save as PSD. So once again, I could export it as any of these different settings, but I want to save it as a PSD first, because if I save it as one of these first, it's going to flatten everything, and I'm not going to be able to edit my layers or my text. So I'm going to click on Save as PSD. Okay, and that's automatically going to download to my downloads folder. Kind of like when you download an image off the internet, it's the same thing. It didn't give me an option of where to save it, but that's okay as long as you realize that it's going to go right to your downloads folder. So now I could close out of this project, and I could probably even close out of the website. And then if I go over to here, this is the one I saved from Photoshop, but if I go to my downloads folder, I will see the one that I saved from Photopea. And there it is right there. If I double click on it, you will see it will actually it could open up in Photoshop. Or what I could do is, I know that you guys don't have Photoshop on your laptops, so what I could do is, let's say if I don't have Photoshop on my computer, and I want to go back to the Photopea website, if that's all you have. So you could go back to Photopea. So say it's the next day and you want to go and work on it some more. We could open up Photopea again. We could go to, instead of new project, we're going to open from computer, because now remember, we've already saved the project from Photopea. So I'm going to open from computer. And what's cool about Photopea is it will also open any PSD that you've already done, or it will just open up the ones that you have saved from Photopea from before. So here's my downloads folder, and I'm going to come in here. Let's go to recent. Maybe I can, or actually let's just search for it, because it looks like some of my stuff is missing here. Let's just type in collage. And we're going to search for our collage, and there is my collage. You can actually see both of the ones, but this is the one that I created with the website. So I'm going to click on Josh Collage and click Open, and boom, there it is. I can just basically start working right where I left off and make changes if I need to, okay? So guys, I hope that that all makes sense. I'm going to close this out. I've made some changes, so it's asking me, it's telling me, there is unsaved work in josh-collage.psd. Do you really want to close it? And I can say okay, or I can cancel and actually come up here and make sure that I make my changes and save my changes. Okay, so now I can close out of there. I can click OK. And guys, that's what's so cool, is I can literally come in here and basically open up and make changes to anything, anytime. And so yeah, let's say I want to make some changes actually. Let's go ahead and do that so you can see that. And I'm just going to make some changes here. I'll delete some of this text. We'll come up to here and we will click Save. And it's letting me save it as a PSD again. And so it looks like it's actually not letting me save changes to my PSD. If that happens and it doesn't let you update the file by clicking Save, what you can do is literally just save it again as a PSD, and that will save another version of the same document on your computer. So you see here, I've got the old version that I created with Photopea, and then I've got the new version, and it's telling me it's the same name, it's Josh-Collage, but now it has a 1 with it. So that's telling me that I saved it. So remember the first time that I created it, I had that longer string of letters, and then I made that change, and then I saved it again, and there's with the shorter letters. So what I can do is just go and move this one to the trash because I don't need it anymore. And now I'm looking at the one that I saved most recent. So guys, if it does that to you, I apologize. You might just, every time you work on it, you might have to just resave it every single time. As long as you remember to save it as a PSD, and every time you make changes, you want to go and save it again so that you don't lose the work that you did. And every time you save it, it will save it to your downloads folder. Okay, if you're working in the room and you're using Photoshop, you don't have to worry about that because Photoshop allows you to update the file by just clicking save. But if you're using Photopea, just remember you're gonna need to just resave it every time. So let's say you were working inside of Photopea and you had saved, you know, maybe 5 pictures inside of here, and then you saved it and saved it to your computer, and the next day you come back and you open it up again inside of the Photopea website, and now let's say you add 5 more pictures and you've got 10 pictures now. Well, now guess what? You need to go back and save that again. So the thing that might get really confusing is that if you go back and forth and you're making updates a lot, you're going to end up with lots of different files, and you don't want to get confused with your files. So that's why I recommend throwing away your old versions and just keeping the newest version that you have. You could even come in here, and when you click on save as a PSD, you could actually rename your new PSD as like a new number, or you could just, you know, make sure that you're keeping track of every new PSD that you save. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and throw these away. And guys, I hope that that all made sense. If you have any questions, please let me know. This is, you know, just kind of what we're having to do to work around not having Photoshop on our laptops at home. So as long as you can keep up with, you know, every time you make a new save, then you should be fine. Okay, I just don't want you to lose any of your work. All right, so guys, that's about it for today. Thank you for hanging in there with me. If you have any questions, let me know, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.